Welcome to this presentation by our group, Kristen, Justin, and myself, John, on motivational interviewing. It's all about clients turning their can't into can. We will explore, firstly, what is motivational interviewing? When would it be used? Motivational interviewing principles, and lastly, the skills of motivational interviewing. So, what is MI? The main idea of MI is to purposely create a conversation around change without trying to convince the person of the need to change or telling them how to change. It was developed by Miller and Rolnick about 20 years ago. It is client-centered, supports behavior change, and aims to enhance the client's motivation to change or resolve their ambivalence by looking at the pros and cons of changing. It is often used in healthcare settings. It usually will last only 1 or 2 sessions. It is very useful to use in healthcare settings to motivate people to change risky behaviours, such as alcohol and drug use or smoking, especially when the client shows ambivalence in wanting or not wanting to change their behaviours. So, what are the elements of motivational interviewing? Important elements of MI are generally called the spirit of motivational interviewing. One aspect is collaboration. Miller and Rolnick stated that, far from being the expert, the therapist is seen as a facilitator who guides the client towards change. The second aspect is evocation. The clinician works to evoke the client's reasons for change and how they might go about it. The clinician spends time asking, not telling. The third aspect is honouring a client's autonomy. This recognises that ultimately it is up to the individual to follow through making changes happen, so empowering them to take responsibility for their actions. The fourth aspect is compassion. The clinician seeks to understand the client's experiences, values, and motivations without judging them. Listen to the short conversation and consider if you can detect any aspect of the MI.
Programs I spent one day, and none of them worked. And it was so frustrating because I took so much time out of my work to go, and I still couldn't find an appropriate placement for her.
My advice would be for you or your daughter to at least spend a week at the program. Again, she needs to get the feel.
No, we can't do that. There's no way I can take her. I couldn't drag her back there, either any of those programs.
So what are you looking for then?
Another essential component of MI is change talk. When the client expresses a need for change, the clinician, in drawing out ideas from the client, moves the balance from indecision towards the client taking action. As the client talks more, their commitment to change increases. The likelihood of their behaviour changing also increases. This has become known as the decisional balance. As you click the video clip, notice how the clinician gets the client to look at both sides.
What would be good about your use of cannabis?
This is a strange one now because no one asked me before what was good about it.
Sure, yeah.
I suppose I'm so used to being asked what's bad about it, and it annoys me, but what else is good about it? It's mainly sleeping and stuff, mainly relaxing, and there is the thing, maybe I don't like losing my temper. I have a young daughter in the house and my girlfriend, and I don't want to lose my temper in front of her.
Sure, yeah.
And it does help keep me kind of calmer.
Okay. So then, in addition to it taking the edge off anxiety and helping you to just feel generally calmer, Tommy, it also plays an important part in just being able to facilitate you being able to get to sleep. And also, I can hear you're worried about, what effects, if anything, it might have on your daughter. But in that sense, you're sort of you're happy enough that it helps to keep you calm in that regard. So let me ask you this then, Tommy. Having looked at some of the good things about your use of cannabis, what would you think are some of the not so good things?
Yeah, well, look, I suppose if I'm to be completely honest, like I was saying to you, what's really important to me is my daughter, and look, I'm spending too much money on it. That's the reality.
There are 4 MI principles, represented by the mnemonic rule. Number 1, resist the writing reflex. This means the clinician must resist the tendency to advise clients of the right thing to do. Number 2, by openly looking at the client's motivation to change, the clinician will get an understanding of the patient's motivations and barriers to change. Number 3 is to listen with empathy. And number 4, empower the client. By the client exploring their own ideas, it empowers them to make changes. There are many skills needed when using motivational interviewing. 4 of them are represented by the mnemonic rules: open-ended questions, affirmations, reflecting, and summarizing. Open-ended questions elicit more information from clients. For example, instead of "do you like vegetables," which can only get a one-word answer, ask an open-ended question such as "what vegetables do you like?" Or instead of "is your medication helping you?" ask "how is your medication helping you?" Affirmations can take the form of compliments or statements of appreciation and understanding in order to build rapport and support the client through the process of change. They should focus on specific behaviours. As you click and watch the video, notice how he affirms the client's specific behaviour.
So I'm hearing that you're annoyed with yourself that you did drink at that party, but I'm also hearing that you had quite a clear intention and a plan in your head when you came that you were not going to, and I think it's worth holding on to that.
Reflecting refers to listening to the client, interpreting their message, and repeating back to the client your interpretation of what they have said. As you click and watch the video clip, notice how the clinician reflects on what the client has said.
So I'm not very familiar with your situation.
Right. Well, my daughter's 17 years old.
Okay.
She's actually very high functioning, thankfully, and I went to 3 of these programs and none of them worked.
So you're looking for a day program,
Right.
and something that really was good for your daughter.
Right. And I was looking for a program that would stimulate her, that she'd really enjoy going to. But they were either like babysitting programs, or they were just the participants were all at like different developmental levels, so that she couldn't make friends.
Mm-hmm.
They were not good for her.
While you were there, it was difficult. Your daughter didn't really kind of fit in or connect with anybody while you were visiting.
No, she did not. She just.
When summarizing what the client has said, the clinician is really checking in with the client to ensure mutual understanding of the discussion so far. As you click and watch the video clip, notice how the clinician summarizes what his client has said.
Okay, yeah, grazing. Let me see if I can summarize what you've said, and then we'll see what next. You lead a busy life.
Yeah.
You run a business and you've got a lot to do.
Yeah.
You're aware of the links between your health and your weight, and you are concerned to some extent about that. And ideally, it sounds like you'd like to do something about it. It's just that your life is busy and rushed, and you tend to use convenience foods in order to get the work done.
Yeah, to a certain extent, because of my lifestyle, food is just fuel.
As shown, motivational interviewing is a very useful interviewing method that facilitates clients to resolve their ambivalence around changing their risky behaviours.